What if the person responsible for the death of someone you loved looked you dead in the eyes and told you exactly how it happened, with a smirk on their face? That is the chilling, gut-wrenching scenario that Coronation Street is about to serve up, and it is the kind of moment that reminds you exactly why this show has kept millions of viewers glued to their screens for over 6 decades. Because right now, on the cobbles of Weatherfield, something truly dark is unfolding, and Summer Spellman is about to come face to face with the full, terrifying reality of who Theo Silverton really is. Welcome back to Corrie Daily Drama, your home for all the latest Coronation Street news, spoilers, and storyline breakdowns. If you have been following the show recently, you already know that the Theo and Todd storyline has been building to something explosive. But this week, the fallout is spreading beyond Todd's front door, and Summer Spellman is directly in the line of fire. So, let's get into everything you need to know about what's coming, because this one is not for the faint-hearted. To fully understand the weight of what is about to happen, we need to take a step back and look at how we got here. Theo Silverton, played with cold and calculated menace by James Cartwright, arrived in Weatherfield as the new partner of fan-favorite Todd Grimshaw, portrayed by Gareth Pierce. What began as a love story quickly revealed itself to be something far more sinister. Theo has spent months subjecting Todd to a relentless campaign of psychological and physical abuse, controlling his every move, isolating him from friends and family, and using manipulation and fear to keep him trapped. It has been one of the most unsettling and carefully handled domestic abuse storylines the show has produced in years, and Coronation Street has been developing it in partnership with Gallup, the LGBTQ plus anti-abuse charity, to ensure authenticity and sensitivity. Then came the event that changed everything. Billy Mayhew, Todd's ex-boyfriend and the street's beloved vicar, finally pieced together the truth about Theo's abuse after discovering video footage from inside their flat during Debbie Webster's wedding. Billy promised to help Todd escape, offering to drive him back to Weatherfield in the wedding minibus. AOL, but Theo got wind of the plan. During the journey, the minibus was involved in a devastating multi-vehicle crash on the darkened moors. Almost everyone escaped, but Billy was injured. Theo went back inside, and upon hearing Billy let slip that he knew the truth about Theo's nature, Theo kept him in the driver's seat with the seatbelt secured, leaving him to die when the vehicle exploded. Coronation Street Wiki, it was a cold-blooded act of murder, disguised as a failed rescue attempt. Billy Mayhew, one of Coronation Street's most cherished characters, was gone, and Theo had blood on his hands. For Summer Spellman, Billy's death has been utterly devastating. Played with extraordinary emotional depth by Harriet Bibby, Summer had long looked to Billy as a father figure, and losing him has sent her into a spiral of grief and desperate need for answers. For weeks, Summer believed that Carl Webster, the show's other morally compromised character, was responsible for the crash and Billy's death. She even confronted Debbie, convinced that she was covering for Carl, before going directly to Carl himself for the truth. TV Guide, but then came the moment that shifted everything. Carl, rather than confessing to drunk driving at the scene, told Summer to look closer to home, a pointed, loaded statement that set Summer's mind racing in an entirely new direction. TV Guide, and now the walls are closing in on Theo. Next week, Summer seeks out Theo directly and presses him on Billy's final moments. Back to the Bay, it is a confrontation born out of grief, fury, and a desperate need to know the truth. But what Summer gets is something she was never fully prepared for. "Theo, already wound up after a run-in with Gary Windass and having been refused service at the Rovers by Gemma, before being barred by Eva Price following the revelations about what he did to Todd, is ready to explode. It is at this point that he confronts Summer in the corner shop, and she is terrified as she gets a front row seat for his short fuse and toxic temper. Yahoo! What happens in that corner shop confrontation is the stuff of soap opera nightmares. Theo is properly menacing as he gets in Summer's face, and he cruelly tells her how Billy begged him to save his life before he perished. Summer, understandably, is horrified. Yahoo! Think about that for a moment. This man, who deliberately left Billy to burn, has the audacity, the cruelty, to describe those final desperate moments to the young woman who loved him like a father. It is not just threatening behavior. It is psychological torture. And it tells us everything we need to know about just how dangerous Theo Silverton truly is. Harriet Bibby herself has spoken about Summer's growing terror, saying that Summer believes Theo is capable of murder. She explained that recently Summer has been grieving for Billy and has been quite blinded by that grief, unable to see anything else that is happening. But once her suspicions begin to crystallize, the penny drops, and suddenly everything makes sense. Now that she has seen it, she cannot unsee it. AOL Bibby also described the enormous emotional burden her character is carrying right now. Summer is panicking because she has this whole weight on her. She is worried for Todd because he might be in a vulnerable position, and Todd is all Summer has left. If anything happens to him, she does not know what she would do. AOL. That sense of impending doom is being felt across the entire Weatherfield community and beyond. Summer's suspicions take a darker twist as she confronts Theo about Billy's final moments, only to be blindsided by news that he and Todd are planning a move to Belfast. Later, over drinks with Todd, she makes a chilling accusation. She believes Theo was responsible for Billy's death. TV Guide the following day, Sarah fills George in on Todd and Theo's imminent departure, and together with Summer they head over to the flat to intervene. But answering the doorbell camera on his phone, Theo insists that he and Todd have already left, with Todd unable to speak as he is supposedly paying for petrol. Inside, Todd manages to persuade Theo to let him ring Sarah, using the call to back up Theo's version of events. With Theo seemingly satisfied, he heads off to the shower, giving Todd a brief window of opportunity to gather his things and attempt to escape. Back to the bay. But Theo loses his temper, and it later becomes evident that he has heavily beaten his husband. A bloodied Todd makes his way to Sarah's flat and wearily asks to be taken to the police station. Yahoo! Wednesday's special One Strand episode will see a bloodied and bruised Todd finally go to the police and report Theo for assault, opening up to Lisa and Kit about the months of abuse he has suffered, both physical and mental. Back to the Bay, it is a landmark moment for the show and for representation of domestic abuse in soap opera storytelling. The fan community has been absolutely electric with theories and reactions. Taking to Reddit, one fan wrote that Summer will kill Theo, pointing out that Harriet Bibby is reportedly taking an extended break soon, that Theo essentially killed Billy and has been abusing Todd for months, and speculating that if Summer found out both pieces of information at once while still caught up in grief, it would be a real shock to see her character do something like that, and that it is entirely possible. TV Guide, another fan, agreed enthusiastically, and a third added their voice to the theory. Harriet Bibby herself teased this possibility when speaking to the Mirror, saying that so many things have happened to Summer, that the loss of Billy and the abuse of Todd are huge injustices down to one person. and that if Summer found out, she might become quite angry and want to balance the scales of that injustice. She even said outright that it is very possible Summer would want to kill Theo, and that if Theo is the person murdered, eyes would definitely be on her. TV Guide. That murder flash forward that Corrie fans will be aware of adds yet another layer of intrigue to all of this. Theo has been identified as one of 5 potential victims in that flash forward sequence, which means the show has been building toward his downfall for some time. The question is not simply whether Theo will face justice. It is who delivers it and at what cost. What we are witnessing with this storyline is Coronation Street at its very best. It is brave, uncomfortable, emotionally intelligent storytelling that refuses to look away from the realities of coercive control and abuse. And by pulling Summer into the eye of the storm, a character who is already drowning in grief, the writers have created something that feels genuinely, viscerally urgent. Every scene involving Theo now carries an undercurrent of real menace, and James Cartwright's performance has been nothing short of outstanding throughout. So to wrap up what we know, Theo is cornered, furious, and more dangerous than ever. He has taunted Summer with the cruelest possible details of her beloved Billy's final moments. Todd has finally found the courage to go to the police, and Summer Spellman, still raw with grief, still reeling from the truth, is standing at a crossroads that could define her character for years to come. The coming weeks on Coronation Street promise to be some of the most emotionally charged and dramatically compelling the show has delivered in a very long time. As always, we want to hear from you. Do you think Summer will be the one to bring Theo down, or even go further than that? Drop your theories in the comments below, because this community always has the best takes on Corrie storylines. And if you have not already, please give this video a thumbs up. It genuinely helps the channel more than you know. Subscribe to Corrie Daily Drama so you never miss a breakdown, a spoiler, or a deep dive into everything happening on the cobbles. We will see you in the next one.